Hey, I'm Jocelyn, and this is my friend Donna, and today Donna is going to make for us a little bit of hummus. I love hummus, and I make it at home a lot, as does Donna, and I swear to you, every person I know that makes hummus at home does it a wee bit differently. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing, but it always has the same ingredients. I mean, sometimes people add some like funky things like cumin or whatever, but the general basic stuff is all of this stuff right here. And so we have water and garlic and lemon, salt, tahini, which you can buy in any international food aisle. It's pretty common, right?
In the U.S., oddly enough, it's near the peanut butter.
Really?
Yeah.
Because at the grocery store I go to, it's kind of near the olives and the pickles.
No, at the one that we're at, you get your Jiffy, you get your tahini.
Well, I mean, it would make sense.
to
No, it does, because it's sesame paste and peanut butter paste, essentially, right?
Only in the United States.
Right. But anyway, it's pretty readily available everywhere. And then you've got chickpeas, garbanzo beans is what we call them in the States sometimes. And you do these fresh. Let's talk about that.
We have different philosophies.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's okay, because again, you can't mess up hummus.
Everybody's got a different
everybody
thing.
still likes it.
Right.
So mine is a little bit more of a process. It's a little bit fancier, but it's not hard. So what I do is I buy my chickpeas dried in bulk because it's cheaper for one.
Yeah.
And I soak them overnight, about 2 times more, of water based off of whatever I put in the bowl.
So if you have a 16-ounce can,
double it.
You have
of water and I just let them sit overnight. Nothing fancy. And then the next day that I'm actually going to make my hummus, I take them out, and I do mine in the pressure cooker, but you don't have to. It's faster that way.
Everything is.
A tablespoon of baking soda and your garbanzo beans and
the water that you need.
And the water that you need, and cook the schnockers out of them. Just
let
let
it
it
go.
go.
Schnockers? Like an hour, 45 minutes?
12. In the pressure cooker, 12 minutes. If you're going to boil them on the stove, about 20 to 40. You just want them soft and breaking when you go to touch them, and then drain them.
Speaking of
which, that's it.
Nice and soft.
Right. You go the canned route.
I do. So I buy canned because she has 1 kid, I have 2, and a Mark. So, right, I go a little bit faster, so I just buy the canned ones. And I drain off that water, and I'll reserve it because Donna taught me something amazing, and we'll tell you about what to do with the water afterward. So I will just do the canned ones, drain that water, keep it off to the side, and
rinse
the dickens out of these things, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing. You really got to rinse them out, in my opinion. And we agree on that.
That liquid is like covered in protein, and if you don't get all of it off, it will make your hummus grainy and not smooth and grainy.
Right. So it kind of clumps up together and stuff, right? And obviously olive oil. Like I don't cook without olive oil.
I don't live without olive oil.
It's like in my veins.
Yeah.
It's actually part of my DNA. So why don't you go ahead and get started and show us what we're going to do? Do you measure any of this?
Yes, I'll measure it. Well, in real life, no. But for today's purposes, yes, I will. Because
to give you an idea of about how much you should have of stuff.
And here's the thing that intimidates people about hummus, and frankly, it's so much cheaper to make your own than buying the prepackaged stuff, and it tastes better.
And yours has no preservatives. It's just natural ingredients.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you start with the chickpeas. And so this is going to be about 3 cups or 2 cans if you're doing the canned route.
Okay.
Rinsed well.
Did you see her sneer? I'm sure there was a little thing.
What?
No.
Okay, and then to do this, you do need some kitchen appliances. I'm sorry.
So she uses a food processor. I use my blender, and I think my blender works pretty much just as well.
So you just want to do a few pulses just to start to break it down before you put all of your other ingredients in. Otherwise, you'll have to start and stop and remix and stir.
It gets a little lumpy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to cut my lemon or smash my garlic? Do you have anger issues today?
I always have anger issues.
Well, then you're going to take the garlic. Let me just slice my lemon first.
All right, so how many cloves do you want me to put in?
So for this amount of hummus, I usually do 4 big cloves, but I'm not scared of garlic.
I was going to say 3 or 4.
The rule of thumb with garlic is, in my opinion, is start low
And add it
You
in.
can always add it in. So if you're not somebody who's a huge fan of garlic, do 1 or 2 cloves and then taste it when you're done, and then add it in later if you want more.
I think that's a very good idea.
I happen to know that we all love garlic here.
Yes, we do. This is,
and we're all friends, so when we all reek of garlic later, it won't matter.
It's okay that we're gonna breathe.
So you're gonna smash those, and I'm gonna put in the juice of 1 whole lemon.
I've got 4. 2 of them are pretty good size, so I think that'll be good for now. We'll start with those. So when I'm gonna move this over so you can see this. When you smash garlic, you can do it with your hand, but it kind of hurts. So if you take that rounded side and set it down, so
if you make this scatter over my kitchen, I'm gonna crack up.
I won't. Round side up, set it down, put the flat of your blade on it, and
yes,
1 boom, just like that. And I didn't hit that one hard enough. Cause see,
do it again.
Yes, feels good, doesn't it?
It does.
And you just kind of pull it right out. It'll pop right out of the skin. And there you go.
And again, the beauty of a blender or food processor.
Right, you don't have to do anything
There's no
else.
chopping.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Just gonna hit these hard.
All
right.
Tahini.
Yeah.
We talked about that. Sesame paste. You're going for about 1 cup. Should I measure this, or do you want me to do my measure?
You can do your measure. I mean,
so you're looking for about 1 cup of tahini, and
So-
if you really like tahini, you can go heavier.
do you stir yours up before you pour it? Because I find that the liquid kind of rises to the top and gets. I kind of get a spoon in there.
This
and
is relatively fresh,
dig
but
around. Well, okay. And these come in like
wrong.
16-ounce containers, and they kind of separate a little bit. So if it's not brand new, and even if it's brand new, I still stir it because that's my thing. So that's what I do. But you don't have to if that's not what you do. Don't make me.
So I do like an easy cup because while some people are obsessed with tahini, I find it tolerable, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. Is that weird?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sesame is a really strong flavor. Like if you ever make Asian dishes and they have sesame oil in them, you've got to be reserved and kind of add it 1 at a time because it's the thing. Did you already do your lemon juice?
Yes, I put in the juice of a whole lemon.
1 lemon.
With my little squeezy thing. Okay. And then I'm gonna do about 1 teaspoon of salt to start. And again, once we start whirring and going.
1 teaspoon. I'm like, wow, I kind of oversalt.
We're gonna add more.
Okay.
I'm trying. You told me I had to measure.
Yeah, I know. Well, you don't have to measure. Just give people an idea.
And then we are going to let this go for about 5 minutes.
So we're gonna turn
go
that on
drink.
and we're gonna drink. See you.
And we'll be back. Okay, so now it's all clumpy and all of the stuff is in there.
Well, it started to mix pretty well at the
down
bottom,
here.
but you've got the chunkies, yeah?
So I need to loosen it up. So this recipe, have you read the Jerusalem cookbook by Yadam Ottolenghi? And I am so sorry if I said your name wrong because I worship you. Not that he's ever going to see this.
Well, maybe he will.
But
And he'll be like, Donna, thank you.
It's the most gorgeous cookbook ever.
Yeah.
It's all recipes from Jerusalem and Middle East.
Uh-huh.
And so it's essentially his recipe.
Okay.
And he says
Good to give credit where credit is due.
he
Yes.
gets all of the credit. I love him. Ice water.
Yes,
When you're
cold
doing,
water
it's
is a
gotta
thing.
be ice water cold. So this
Because-
has had ice cubes in it, so it's nice and
And I
cold.
think it's because although there's a lot of protein in chickpeas, it's starchy.
Yes.
And cold water and starches, I don't know the science behind it. I'm just a kitchen cook, right? I mean,
if
this
Yadam
is what I
says to do it,
then you do it.
then I'm gonna do it.
Okay, well let's do what Yadam
So-
says. Okay, so we talked about both of us, whether we're using canned chickpeas or she's cooking it on the stove, you've got all that liquid that comes out of it. And Donna has taught me this amazing thing to do with it. So
I just learned it, and it was like mind blowing. I'm like crazy.
pretty
Hello.
dang good stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely mind blowing. So the liquid that's in the canned chickpeas, the
Yes.
chickpeas sit in for a very long time, and everybody knows that it's super viscous and kind of, it's almost opaque, like it's so
It
like
is.
protein
It's
concentrated.
thick. Yes.
It's called aquafaba.
F-A-B-A?
I believe so, but don't quote me on it.
Okay.
Aquafaba, water of the bean. Water
Yeah.
something like
Or
that.
fava, F-A-V-A is,
Yeah. Anyways, so
Let's just get on past that
it's super duper concentrated in the proteins, and I was doing a cleanse recently, and they recommended making mayonnaise out of this protein base. So I opened
Hang
up
on,
the
let me
can.
stop you. Southerners, mayonnaise is only Duke's, possibly Blue Putty. So let's not call it, I'm not calling it mayonnaise. It's really good, but it's schmear.
In the cookbook, it was called aquafaba mayo. We're gonna go with it, and it's delicious. So you take,
It is delicious.
I have an immersion blender. You can also use a regular blender. You take about 1/4 cup of the aquafaba, and you start to emulsify it, and immediately it turns really, really cloudy and starts to build up.
Sure.
Lemon, salt,
Yeah.
and then about 3/4 cup to a cup of some type of light oil. I used grapeseed oil,
Canola oil.
canola oil,
Yeah.
avocado oil.
Something without a lot of flavor.
Something really, really mild.
Good.
Not olive
Sure.
oil as much as I love it.
Yeah.
Just because it's too heavy.
It's a strong
And
flavor,
just like
too.
making regular mayonnaise, you slowly drizzle in that oil into the aquafaba, and in about 4 to 5 minutes, all of a sudden it turns into this gorgeous, creamy. It's
Schmear.
It's mayonnaise.
We're calling it schmear.
It's mayonnaise.
It's not mayonnaise.
It's.
Duke's is the mayonnaise.
I'm not from the south. If the cookbook says it's mayonnaise, and it's so good. And so I use it for dips. Like I'll use it as like a base. Like we just did
like
peppers
you
the
put,
other
like,
night.
dill
I
or
put-
something in it?
You put dill in it and make your own ranch. You do.
Could I use it for tzatziki, like a protein, like
yeah.
another
Yeah.
flavor for the?
Put
Oh,
some
I bet that would be
cucumber,
good.
put some garlic in it, lemon juice, mix it
Right.
up. It's your
Yep.
base for everything, or just throw it on a
nice.
sandwich, and it's
Great.
clean. So-
And it's also got a ton of protein in it. So
Yeah.
if you're a protein heavy person, or if you are vegan and you are looking to like get a little extra protein in your diet, that's a
Yeah.
really good way to do it, right?
yeah, it's so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we taste test?
We should taste test, and I'm going to tell you, I love mine really lemony, and I think it's because I'm Greek. Everything is che limone with lemon, but I will put like a little, maybe bigger than that, but like a little slice, rind and all. Even though the rind can get kind of bitter, I think it works okay in that. But that's for me. I don't do that for other people because not everyone in the world loves to be bathed in lemon like I do. So,
Bathe me.
all right, taste up, sister. Tell me how it is. It looks beautiful. It's got a beautiful consistency.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah? Is it perfect?
You'll want more lemon.
Well,
I
that's
just-
okay.
I know you well
make
enough.
this, and then I will squeeze some lemon on mine and just stir it around on my plate.
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm good with that.
Awesome.
As is.
So, how long did that take us? I mean, it was 5 minutes of the worrying and the drinking.
And the water, because I didn't tell you,
What?
was about 1/4 cup of ice cold water.
Okay.
Is what we decided.
What did you say it was? 110 mils?
It was 100 mils,
100 mils.
but that translates
A little
roughly
bit more than half. Little more than a quarter, not quite half. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. And again, you can't mess up hummus. So if you don't get it exactly right,
Start low. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the rule. Like, start with a little because you can always add more. Don't add a ton because then it becomes a pain in the rear end because you've got to get more garbanzos out and whatever. And that's okay if you're me and you're using a can. But since Donna doesn't use a can, that's a problem because you got to let it sit all night.
Right.
Yeah? And you got to cook them off. So, all right.
then
It looks lovely.
it's just
Do you top yours with other spices? Sometimes when I put mine out, I just put it out and then I'll have like a little tiny pile of like cardamom and a little tiny pile of cumin.
So
or
I don't
whatever. Just to make it look pretty.
I don't put spices on mine.
You put oil on top.
I put olive
Yeah.
oil on top because the richness of this, and like when I say olive oil, I mean you're gonna put some olive oil on top of it. You want it to coat
that was a
pretty
good
much
couple
the whole top.
tablespoons. Yeah.
And then as people dip and eat and spoon, it will get kind of incorporated
Get
into it,
mixed in.
and it's also pretty.
It is pretty.
So
I like it.
yeah,
Thank you.
yay, you're welcome.
I love it. I appreciate you making this with me and hanging out for the day. And
Thank you
this
for
has
letting
been
me
good.
come play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So that is hummus in a nutshell. And like I said, like Donna said, hummus is something that, is varied. And I think that
Yes.
you and I both really like recipes where we can play with them and make them our own. And hummus is definitely one of those things. So
This
I
is your
hope-
starter. Go from there.
Yeah. I hope,
Add more stuff.
I hope you guys will try this and make it your very own recipe. See you later.